But I also think in life it's quite important to have inspirations in sort of your everyday life.
Yeah.
People that are more accessible, someone that you could maybe bump into, or someone that maybe even know. So I have a lot of local players, people that run a few restaurants, a few gigs, in Geneva, and I think that are local heroes, and I really, really, really look up to them. And I also think it's important in life to have these people that are accessible, that you could sit down with one day and pick their brains, or sit down for a coffee. I think it's really important to have those sort of idols in life.
Welcome to It Was All a Dream with me, Nathersonn. Today I'm joined by Adrian. Adrian, if you want to introduce yourself, let the people know who it is and what you do.
Hi, everyone. So yeah, my name is Adrian. I recently opened with my best friend Lucas a smash burger restaurant in Geneva, Switzerland, trying to spread as much love as possible with local ingredients, and yeah, just as much love as we can put in, and always serve with a smile, and always try and spread as much positivity as possible.
That's beautiful. So I actually come across you guys on TikTok the other day. I was scrolling through and I see that you guys just quit your job and decided to go for it. So my question on that was that always your dream to open up not necessarily a burger joint, but a restaurant?
Funny thing is, not really, actually. We both kind of stumbled across hospitality by chance, I would say. So I was actually at uni in England. I wasn't happy there. I kind of missed Switzerland. I missed my life here, and my best friend Luca was always going on about this, and I said it was always going about this hospitality school in Lausanne, the hotel school. And I said, yeah, I would love to come back to Switzerland, but my French is not good enough to necessarily study in French. And he said, oh, the course is in English. This course is in English. So I thought, okay, that's cool. And then I thought, yeah, okay, hotel management, hospitality. Yeah, of course. I love traveling and eating in restaurants. But I kind of thought to myself, who doesn't really, Who doesn't love staying in a nice hotel? Who doesn't like having a lovely meal? But I thought, I'll give it a go. I'll definitely give it a go. And then, yeah, we just discovered this incredible, wonderful, beautiful industry, which is hospitality, which is kind of, I feel like being a bit slightly selfless. It's putting others before yourself. It's always going the extra mile. That's what I believe it is. And I just feel like it really tied into all my values sort of growing up. And it was always our dream to open a business. We always knew we were going to open a business. And I feel like restaurant industry is something which is definitely attainable. It's not opening the next social media or
Yeah, sure.
It's manageable in that respect. So I feel like the two played into each other really well. So that's kind of how we stumbled into the restaurant industry.
That's perfect. So just touching on what you mentioned there about how you kind of knew you always wanted to do a business, but you didn't know not what necessarily sector of business you wanted.
Yeah.
What would you say that kind of inspired that? And also you mentioned how growing up, the hospitality industry fitted to your values of growing up. What would you say that, but like those inspirations was that you was like growing up with and stuff like that to then help you go into the industry that you are today?
Yeah, I mean, the inspiration sort of growing up. I mean, so the fact that I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, I think, was always just a lot of self-belief. I always believed that I was capable of doing it, and I always believed that I don't like this term that I always felt like I was made to run my own business, because it's not about lack of that I can't take authority or anything, but I just feel like I was the right place and I had the right upbringing to be able to connect dots, to be able to and to inspire others towards a common goal. I think that's really what my love for the business was. And yeah, the other motivations, I think, especially towards more the restaurant side, is that I believe that I had a very happy upbringing, you know. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't think we touched on that in the TikTok, but I did actually work as a real estate analyst, sorry, for 2 years.
Okay.
My best friend Luca, he was a sort of executive headhunter, you know, and we just didn't feel the love. We didn't feel the love in the industry, and we didn't feel like we're waking up every day to sort of make the world a better place, no matter how small the effort or the input was.
Yeah.
I really feel like that was the motivation behind it.
Okay, that's cool. That's really nice to hear. So, you mentioned that you guys, like, you left your job, and although you didn't know that obviously you wanted to go into food and hospitality, you just knew that you had an eye for it, a passion for it. How old was you when you roughly, like, discovered that it was the burger, or it's called Pretty Patty, right?
Pretty better, yes.
Yeah. So how old was you when you, like, was like, ah, oh, Pretty Patty is the idea for us? Because I think everybody thinks that you need to know what you want to do by
Yeah,
the age of like 6. When
yeah.
you don't, you can be 17, you could be 26. You know, like, you don't have to have an age restriction on that. So how old was
Definitely.
you guys when you kind of come up with the concept of it?
That's a good point. That's a good question. I would say I think it was only until I really left my job that I said, okay, this is definitely happening now. I really don't have any choice.
Yeah.
Because I am quite good, I would say, at procrastination and yeah, and taking the big leap. I thought, you know what, I'll throw myself in the deep end. You know what, I'm gonna leave my job here, and I'm really gonna force myself. If I We tried it for months, you know, a bit of business plan in the evening, a bit of, you know, meetings here and there, but I really didn't feel like things were falling together.
Yeah.
You know, I obviously had quite a demanding job in the sense, at least emotionally. I was coming home quite emotionally drained in the evenings.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really felt like it was important to throw myself in at the deep end. But I think that was probably the best, the time where I thought this is really happening. I must have been, how old was I when I left my job? I was 27, yeah. And then the day where I really thought, okay, this is made for me. I thought that was a big moment for me as well. I think in my journey was when it was our first big gig. So we actually kind of overbooked ourselves. So we had
Okay.
a massive event in the morning. It was in a vineyard that we managed to get through a friend. And then
Yeah.
in the evening, it was one of a good friend of ours. It was her birthday. And because we'd already done that the year before, we said, well, we can't say no to her this time. So we had an event in the morning, an event in the evening, with a very little experience, to say the least. So we were out, I think we were up until about 1 or 2 in the morning prepping
Wow.
for the 2 events. And then we were up again at 7 in the morning to prepare for the first event. So the first event was until 3. Oh, no, till 3. Then we had 1 hour to get back, finish off the prep that we had still to do for the next event. And then we went to our friend's birthday, cooked there, finished cleaning up, I think about 1 o'clock in the morning. And then because it was our friend, we then sort of partied until about 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I just remember saying, so what, we probably worked about from 7 till about 1 the next day. That's a good 15, 16 hour work day. And I thought, and I didn't see the time pass. I didn't think once, okay, this is long, this is tough, this is, I'd rather be doing something else.
Yeah.
And that's when I said, hey, I've just put in a 15, 16 hour work day, and it went by in the click of a finger. This has to be it. This has to be it. Whereas, in my old job where, you kind of sit there like, oh, it's only 4, it's 5 now, oh, only an hour left. And I hated that feeling. I really thought that life had more to live
Yeah.
than counting the hours, counting the days of the week. Oh, 2 days till the week. And I thought this really is not this is no sort of existence for me, I
Yeah.
really look for meaning in everything I do and everything I do in life. So that's kind of how it happened, I would say.
No, it's beautiful to hear as well, you know. It's nice that people can see that there is more to life, not just because I think we do get so caught up on that 9 to 5, like
Definitely.
we work all week, we don't do anything in the evenings during the week, and then we
Tired.
do the weekend, and then that's it, you know, we're back to work again. And
Yeah,
I think we do life around work instead of work around life. And I
definitely.
think it should be enjoyed more. So, in business or personal life, really, would you say that you had many idols or heroes or like people that really supported you to push you to go for this business? Obviously, you've got the help of your business partner, Luca, who
Yeah,
helped not only with the vision, but supporting the vision. Would you say that
definitely.
like maybe your upbringing from your parents was also a big play in that, or even people probably down to the likes of maybe not like an Elon Musk in that sense, but maybe more of like a Gordon Ramsay or someone in probably
Definitely.
in that field.
That's funny. I mean, it's funny you mentioned Elon Musk, because I respect the fact how he has so many businesses and how he can switch from one business to another. I don't know how he even sleeps at night with that level of, and I don't understand why you get to that level of success with one business, why you want to sort of multiply your effort. And so I think that's incredible. And I do definitely think he's an inspiration in some respect.
Yeah.
One big idol that is some sort of a household name, maybe not everywhere in the world, and maybe not necessarily outside of America, but definitely Danny Meyer, who created Shake
Okay.
Shack. And I read his book, and that's probably also coming back to your previous question about when did you think, okay, I'm definitely made for this, I'm going to do this, is when I
Yeah.
picked up his book. Someone gave it to me, Setting the Table, incredible book, the best lessons you could ever have, not just in hospitality, but in business. And I read his book, and I thought he only did Shake Shack, but I also saw that he'd actually that was kind of like the last thing in his career, or last thing. No, it's definitely not his last thing, but it
But
came
yeah,
late
yeah.
on in his career. That he'd done so many fine dining restaurants, and I thought, and I love fine dining, I love all types of restaurants, and I thought the fact that someone that could switch his focus from fine dining and then excel so well in the fast food industry or the fast good, whatever you want to call it, because I think it's better than fast food.
Yeah.
But he was a huge inspiration, and I drank literally the words of. I mean, I took in every single word, and it just kept me up at night. And I definitely knew that's what I'm going to do. So he's a big inspiration. But I also think in life it's quite important to have inspirations in sort of your everyday life.
Yeah.
People that are more accessible, someone that you could maybe bump into, or someone that maybe even know. So I have a lot of local players, people that run a few restaurants, a few gigs, in Geneva, and I think that are local heroes, and I really, really, really look up to them. And I also think it's important in life to have these people that are accessible, that you could sit down with one day and pick their brains, or sit down for a coffee. I think it's really important to have those sort of idols in life
Yeah,
as
definitely.
well.
I think we like for me personally, I used to kind of go to London to go like work with some A-list like names and take their photos and stuff like that.
Wicked, yeah.
Before I'd go there, I'd go to a barber shop, get my hair cut, and I'd find I'm talking to the barber. He's telling me about how he's always had this dream and this vision and he's achieved it. I'm like, that's a really cool story. But then I'm leaving him to go there, and I'm like, he's actually inspired me without even realizing. And that's kind of how this whole podcast came together, was that I was finding that I was so inspired by people that I walk past every day,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
and
wicked.
and like we walk past so many people that are either achieved their dream, achieving their dream, or giving up on their dream.
Yeah,
And ideally want to swap those people that are giving up to show them that it is possible because I'm sure there's people that have walked past like his barber shop and Pretty Patty and gone, oh, I've always wanted a place like that. Always wanted to be able to do that, but I'm never going to be able to. And they could just carry on walking or something like that. And that's kind of why I wanted to bring like yourself on and the other guests that I've had on is just to highlight that it can be done, and it's not even about having advantages in life. It's just like shifting that mindset. And obviously there's always going to be financial struggles along the way with starting up businesses and
definitely.
and achieving any dream really, and that. But I do think it's quite nice that you mentioned about local heroes, because
Yeah,
I
that's
think they
exactly
definitely go unrecognized.
ties in so
Um,
well. Yeah.
so just with how much you guys have achieved, I mean, how long have you been running now?
So it's been what's the date today? So it's been 5.5 wait, yeah, it's been 6 months now. Jesus, yeah, it's been 6 months. Yeah.
6 months, a solid 6 months, gone quick. I'm sure you've loved every second of it. I'm sure it's been
Madness.
stressful.
Yeah.
So just going on that, you've achieved the success of being able to open up your bricks and mortar restaurant. You know, you've gone viral on social media. That's how I found you. How would you
Yeah.
say that you've achieved the success that you have, just from like the pen and paper idea to officially getting the keys and putting that like and selling your first burger?
Definitely, definitely. Um, how I think I really just I think it's a lot of vision. I mean, it's a lot of vision. It's believing in your vision. It's determination sounds sort of redundant in that sense, but it's really just never ever giving up and just believing so solidly in yourself and what you have to bring to this world. Someone put it in someone I remember hearing this term once, blind faith, where he knew he would make it one day, and
Yeah,
in no matter what he put his mind to. And I really think it's just about believing yourself, and it's just also about having just a clear vision, and sticking to that. um what's he called again? The guy that started Amazon.
Is it Jeff
Jeff
Bezos?
Bezos, yeah, Jeff Bezos,
Yeah,
exactly. He said you have to be stubborn with your vision, but flexible in the details. And I thought that's really, really, really interesting. You have to really believe strongly in your vision, but along the way, you'll have all these new pieces of information, and you just have to be very versatile and agile, and be ready to take your business into different directions. And another thing also I heard, which was very inspiring to me, is you just have to be in business. You just have to be in business. And it's only when you're in business that your doors are open. You meet people that can take your business in any sort of direction. And I thought
yeah,
that's part of it as well.
I mean, just going on with what you've mentioned there about how the like determination to succeed. I think what you said earlier was quite good as well, where you said the moment you knew it was real is when you quit and you kind of like you jumped off that cliff and it was now your
Yeah,
time to fly. Do you know what I mean? And you almost backed yourself into that corner until you had to get out. And I think if you are working like a job, obviously don't just quit it right now. But if you are working that job, I think sometimes when you're working that 9 to 5, you've got the idea and the vision, but like you can't work on it fully. So how you then just like you was like, right, I've got to commit to it. I think it's a really interesting approach on it as
yeah.
well. So it's good that you had that back in as well. I actually want you to, if you won't mind, just tell a bit more about Pretty Patty and how you come up with the whole. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of. I'm not too sure how it is out in Switzerland, but like, I'm sure there's a lot of competition out there still.
Definitely.
So just kind of what made you like come up with the name, the concept of Pretty Patty, because I'm sure it's similar to Shake Shack and Five Guys and stuff like that. So it's cool to see that you guys are standing strong. Your burgers look amazing. So I do
You
want
have
to
to
come out
try
and
them
try
today.
one for sure. I gotta get out there and try one. I love burgers, so I will be more
Fantastic.
than happy to come out and try one. But yeah, how did you come up with the whole idea of it, and just like a bit of background on what it is you guys do?
Definitely, definitely. So I would say the first catalyst was when me and my best friend Luca, we were in London, so we had to do an internship during our 4-year course. Both decided to go to London, and we heard about Shake Shack. It probably opened not that long ago in Covent Garden. It was the very first one. There was only one in Europe. It was the
Yeah,
first one. So I remember going there, and we just had a eureka moment. I mean, not a eureka, just a we just blown away by the taste. I mean, I can still remember like it's yesterday, just being blown away. Like I never tried a smash burger. I never tried anything in the realms of what Shake Shack gave me on that specific moment in time. The really soft potato bun.
Yeah.
And just that moment was so strong that it just stayed with me for years and years and years. And we thought, okay, it's just a matter of time before this comes to Switzerland. It's just a matter of time. By the time we finish our studies, by the time we get ourselves set up with a job and a house and financial stability, they'll be all over Switzerland. There's no way we're in any place to be able to bring this to market. We still had 3 years left of our studies, so we finished our studies. Towards the end of the studies, we were just making burgers and burgers and burgers. We're going out less and less, just making burgers every weekend for ourselves, for friends, and just inviting friends over. And we just loved it. We were just so happy at that time making burgers. We would drive to stupid parts of Switzerland to pick up that exact cheese or this. We'd go to this supermarket to buy this bread, and try it with that bread. So it was just that discovery phase, which was so incredible. And our friends said, "Oh, your burgers are good." But we thought, you know what? Our friends would always say that our burgers are good,
Yeah, 100%.
And so then we both got jobs. And I think we just got more and more just unhappy with our situation, and where the sort of sleepwalking through life feeling, which was just not very pleasant at all. And then I think it got to a point where during COVID, when we just couldn't take it anymore and we quit our jobs, like I said, when no restaurant was open whatsoever, everything was closed, and we quit our jobs to open a restaurant, which I think is quite a funny thing to do. But also COVID really revealed I feel, to people, like what's important in life, when we really were brought back to the essence of, what's important in life, human connections and what have you. So that really kind of brought to light what we wanted to do. And then at that time, this is sort of like 5 years, I think almost 6 years after our first Shake Shack, we saw there was still no smash burgers in Switzerland. We pick up late on trends. We thought, no, this is crazy. This is really, we have to do it. It almost felt like our duty to do it.
Yeah.
It did feel like a duty to do it. And we thought, hey, you know what? If we open a big restaurant, we can trip up. We don't have that much experience. If we have a massive menu, we won't manage. And we thought, we just kept on coming back to burger. Every time we do our maths, everything came back to a burger. Simple to execute, people, easy to market, easy for people to understand, a fun twist on a burger, that it's not, I don't know, it's not like a fusion concept, that especially Swiss people are very conservative as well. They like experiencing, but they really don't like people to rock the boat so much. So again, we thought this was perfect to be able to do. And we just wanted something that was really fun, friendly, pretty patty, sounded really, it rhymes, it's friendly, it's almost sort of childish. And then the vision behind it the whole way was, we wanted to create something that us, almost 25 years ago, we'd walk into and just be mind blown. That same experience we had in Shake Shack, we wanted to give that to almost our younger selves. And so everything we did was sort of a childhood dream. We just wanted to create the childhood dream. So everything's very, very colorful, friendly, over exaggerated in a sense. That's kind of the vision behind it. And we wanted to bring together local producers who are extremely passionate about their work and their produce. So we only work with people that we get along with. That's really important. We don't want to be on the phone with people that we feel like we have a really, strenuous business relationship with. So only really passionate local producers that really care about their produce. So we work only with people like that, local produce. And we just feel like we just brought together, we just connected a lot of dots. Everyone we hire is extremely caring, extremely outgoing, gregarious, and exuberant. And so I feel like the starting point we also got quite right, and I'm really happy. And just everything just fell into place beautifully, and the Swiss market were receptive to it. We still kind of benefited, even though a few small places did open in the meantime during our renovations, but we still benefited, I think, from the first mover, and the Swiss market were receptive to this love and that we had to give, and the joy we wanted to spread, and the message we had to convey. So just a really satisfying and rewarding 6 months so far, really.
I'm really glad. I'm really glad it worked out as well. And what I love is that you guys use locals, because
Yeah,
it's almost like you bring the community together, you know. And I gotta say, I got nothing but respect for also trying to like open up a food chain, or well, not necessarily a food chain, but a restaurant and hospitality
yeah,
during COVID, because that was a time when it was testing and questioning of whether it'll even be back.
yeah.
So nothing but respect for taking that leap, because that's an insane leap. Um, so I've just got two more questions really for you.
Okay.
Um, one is in the career of Pretty Patty, what has been your proudest moment so far? Is it like seeing the finalized logo hanging up on the glass, or
Yeah.
is it selling the first burger, or what is the what's been the proudest moment where it's been like we've done it, or we've
Yeah.
got it, or
No, I think definitely selling the first burger was a terrifying experience, by the way. So it definitely wasn't that. When the first clients came in, we're like, we actually have to serve them a burger now. But yeah, no, that did go very well. But no, the proudest moment was I think sort of the day the builders left, the sort of last day of the building site, when everything was kind of ready, and just I think it was just walking through the restaurant once it'd been finalized, and that's when I almost was brought to tears, and I thought, we've done it. I mean, we've at least got this far, you know.
yeah.
That was definitely my proudest moment, was the few days before opening, and just coming to the restaurant every day and just seeing it, and the ideas we'd managed to take from paper and make it into a reality. So that was definitely my proudest moment. Obviously, you know, newspaper articles, they always were so fantastic, and showed that we were doing something right. And yeah, I also think now I'm being in front of you and sharing my ideas, and that someone like yourself did pick up on our concept and the values we have tried to get across. I think it was also a very, very proud moment for me. So I do thank you very much for the opportunity too.
No, 100%. I mean, do you know what? As soon as I see the video, and it instantly caught my eye, because normally with TikTok, I just scroll, and you guys jumped out to me, and I was like, oh, okay, like watch the video. Is the one where you mentioned about quitting your job, and
Yeah,
come with us. We quit our job and opened up a burger, and it kind of shows your story in a
definitely.
short video, and it instantly caught me, and I was just like, I can tell there's so much passion in that video for you to go to the extremes that you did, and that which then brings me on to my next and last question is, anybody that's listening or watching this that kind of wanted to follow in the footsteps of you guys in stepping into hospitality, or opening up their own um like restaurant, or not necessarily restaurant, but like food service, I guess I'd say,
Yeah.
um what advice would you offer them? Because I mean, and it's a big achievement to be able to open up an actual restaurant, you know, because I mean, you can cook from home and do like the delivery and just eat options and stuff like that, where you got like Uber Eats and stuff.
Definitely, yeah,
So
the dark option, yeah.
nothing but like respect for being able to achieve opening up your restaurant. But yeah, what advice would you offer to anybody that kind of wanted to follow in your footsteps in that?
Yeah, I would say first of all, it does sound redundant. Believe in yourself 100%. You're never too too old. You're never too young to make it happen. Do your maths. Do your maths, definitely. Don't underestimate the work as well. Especially I talk about food service. It's a lot of work. It's long hours. You know, you're working when people get off work. You're always working when people get off work. So when people finish their work for the week, that's when your work starts to really, really pick up. So don't underestimate the work, but it's the most beautiful industry. If you are passionate about it, if you do get that gut feeling, you know it's made for you. And just don't be afraid to try it. You know, you don't necessarily have to quit your job straight away. Inquire about food stalls. Maybe see if you can do a delivery gig out of your home. Sign up to an event. Sign up to a festival. See how it feels. You know, at the end of the weekend, if after making literally next to no money, standing outside for 5 hours in the cold does bring joy still to yourself, and that gut feeling doesn't go away, then I definitely think it's made for you. And I would just really, really go for it. Surround yourself with the right people. Maybe even that person that you think isn't inaccessible in your town that has 5-6 restaurants. You'll really, really be surprised. I was just not scared to, you know, text anyone or DM anyone. They're 9 times out of 10, they're more than happy to, especially in the restaurant industry, more than happy to share their experience. And because it is such a tough industry in terms of the workload and the hours, it is a really, really tight-knit industry. So people are willing to help. I said before 9 times out of 10, but I honestly would say 11 times out of 10 people are willing to help. So it's a beautiful industry. If you think it's made for you, bloody go for it.
That's perfect. Well, that wraps it up for everything I have to say. So if you just want to give you guys a shout out, let people know where they can support, follow you, and anything else, just feel free to let me know now. Like, just at like the Instagram handles or anything like that. And
definitely. So yeah, if you're willing to give us a follow on Instagram, it's prettypatty.burger. We document our journey. We've documented our journey there really, really well. So that's also a fantastic place. And TikTok, Pretty Patty Genève. You have to say with the French accent. Give us a follow. Lots of storytelling coming along, and we'll just be really happy. If we can inspire one person out there, we've done our job. Really, we're not out there to inspire the masses or anything necessarily, but if we can change one person's life or inspire one person, that's just a fantastic thing for us, really. And get in contact, DM. We reply to literally every single DM, so don't be afraid to text us, DM us. We'll be more than happy to reply and help if ever we could. So there we are.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Nathersonn.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of It Was All a Dream. We appreciate your time and support. We hope that you enjoyed the episode and you feel inspired to achieve your dreams. Be sure to give us a follow on social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and Twitter, where you can contact us and stay connected with us if you have any feedback on the episodes or guest recommendations. Be sure to stick around after this to see what's upcoming in the next episode. Thank you.
Well, I'm in forensics in the greater Los Angeles area. I've been doing this for 20 years now.